13 Chapter 1. The Strongest Man. Divergences from MHA canon. The League of Villains are slightly buffed. UA does not accept quirkless people for safety concerns. Divergences from OPM canon. Izuku is not bald. Bald Deku is the most cursed thing that I have imagined in my life, so he keeps the broccoli hair. Most of the One Punch Man villains that I use are weakened to fit MHA power levels. Around the time of the UA entrance exam. We are experiencing reports of a large villain above Musutafu City. Estimated criminal rank, S. His quirk seems to be a hybrid of an unnamed mutant quirk and energy projection, says a reporter, while clutching his head to prevent rubble from killing him. Appearance: extremely large, purple, 2 antennae, a shockwave knocks the camera recording him over, ending the television broadcast. Quote. Guess'll go, Izuku said in a monotone voice. He removed his All Might hoodie to reveal a black and green hero outfit with a simple white cape. He leaped out of his window, running at supersonic speeds towards the location of the incident. When he arrived, a whole city block was entirely wiped out, flaming telephone poles strewn about the location. Izuku notices a little girl, who could not have been above 10 years old, and saves her just before the villain could kill her. And what do we have here? The villain questions. Just a guy who's a hero for fun, Izuku states plainly. What kind of half-assed backstory is that? I, on the other hand, have a quirk that increases in strength with every atom of pollution that you pathetic humans have suffused the earth with. I am Vaccine Man. The earth is a single living organism, and you humans are nothing more than flesh-eating bacteria. You say you do this for. Just like that, Vaccine Man was knocked out cold, every bone in his body shattered into a million pieces. Just one punch again. Damn it. Izuku comically collapses onto his knees, before fleeing the scene. When Eraserhead and Present Mike appeared at the scene, on their way to proctor the UA entrance exam, all they found was an unconscious villain and a city block removed from existence. A villain with a criminal ranking of S defeated instantly. Who could have done this? Aizawa mutters to himself. Maybe All Might. Present Mike yells back, obnoxiously loudly. No. He's already at UA. I think we might have ourselves a vigilante on our hands. And one that can defeat an S-rank villain in one punch, too. What makes you think that he was defeated in one punch? If you examine him, there is actually only evidence of one impact on his body, which shattered all of the villain's bones. Despite this, you can see a slight attenuation of severity the farther from the focal point you get, supporting my theory. We should probably get him to a villain hospital before he dies, if he was hurt that severely. Present Mike interrupts. Yeah, I guess the entrance exams will have to be delayed, Aizawa says, dragging the unconscious Vaccine Man. Izuku glances at his shopping list, as he goes through the shopping mall. He passes some novelty slime toys, and looks at them, wistfully. Has it really been a whole year since then? Izuku is returning home, dejected after he was forced to suffer another instance of his hero analysis books being destroyed by Bakugo. Suddenly, a villain made out of sludge appears through a sewer grate. You might be a nice puppet for me, the villain remarks, before deciding against it. You know what, your eyes look just as dead as mine. From one lifeless-eyed person to another, how about I spare you? Say, have you seen a kid with a big chin around here? He put some food coloring in my slime, and now I can't get it out. Nope, Izuku says, and walks past him. Eventually, he passes a playground with a large-chinned child playing in it. Izuku looks at him, horrified. Have you put any food coloring in a man who was made of sludge recently? Yeah, it was funny. Izuku recoils with shock, before composing himself. You know what, it's none of my business. I should just move along and pretend I never saw him. Almost on cue, the slime villain appears behind the child. Found you. He immediately tries to absorb the child, before he is saved by Izuku. Are you really about to kill someone just for putting some food coloring in your slime? It's hardly even noticeable. I've killed for far, far less, boy. The slime villain knocks Izuku away. I never wanted this soulless life of being a student, then being sent off to some average office job. I've always wanted to become a hero, who could send rotten villains like you flying with just one punch. Izuku swims into the slime villain and rips out its eyes. With the eyes gone, the slime becomes inert, leading Izuku to throw the eye out of the creature before he lost oxygen. With the slime scattered, and the eyes removed, Izuku leaves for a hero to come clean up the mess. Really? This crab costs this much? Let me see if I have anything. Izuku faintly gets a sense that a villain was about to attack, but one never did. He walks out of the store and heads home. After that, I trained until I felt like I was on the verge of death. I had gotten my wish to become strong, but why do I feel so empty? And I can never get credit for my hero duties, because I would be branded a vigilante and arrested. Plus, quirkless people aren't even allowed to be heroes. When Izuku got home, he was met with a bowl of dinner, home-cooked by his mother. I know how hard it is to know that your dream school doesn't accept quirkless kids, but there are a ton of normal schools that would accept you. Even UA's Gen Ed program would accept you with the kinds of grades that you put up. Plus, did you hear about that new vigilante on the loose? He's rumored to be quirkless, too. I guess, Izuku said flatly, although he was pretty alarmed on the inside that the debacle with Vaccine Man has gotten some news coverage. The second his mother turned around, Izuku had already made it to his room, arousing his mother's suspicion for a few seconds, but she quickly dismissed it. He couldn't be that fast. That would have to be the work of a quirk. And Inko knew that her son was quirkless. Right. 13 Chapter 2, The Demon Cyborg. End section. By popular vote, Saitama. Deku is the winner. Other divergences from MHA canon. From a Watsonian perspective, Izuku has his GED after he found out that UA didn't take quirkless people. From a Doylist perspective, I didn't want to write a school setting. A hero license can be awarded to anyone 15 and over, to make room for extremely impressive students, such as All Might and Genos, although he is homeschooled by Kusuno, rather than attending a high school. Other divergences from OPM canon, Genos is 16, rather than 19 to make the age gap less weird. There will be no shipping, but I felt like making Genos his canon age would make interactions between him and Genos slightly awkward. He also has a weak fire quirk that was enhanced by Kusuno's cyborg modification. Kusuno himself has an intelligence quirk. Genos is also already registered as a hero, because we can't do the exam arc due to Izuku's quirkless status. I also didn't want to have to deal with quirk laws surrounding Genos Fire, so I just had him be registered prior to the story. I know I said that I would diverge from One Punch Man here, but I'm going to introduce Genos here, and have this story's equivalent of the Saitama vs Genos, then we'll get to original content. I will be skipping over most of the other One Punch Man arcs, but I will include one after this. I won't spoil which one, mind you. Izuku woke up to half of his apartment building completely annihilated. A large hand swept through his room, knocking him through several buildings, before his head started to bleed from impact. A creature stood above him, a large, muscular creature with a darker complexion. He had multiple red eyes and one gigantic maw, with a circular ring of teeth. Just what are you? What? That's rude, considering that we are the true Earthlings, the creature spoke. We, Izuku replied, simultaneously excited and horrified. I believe that you would call us Subterraneans, the creature, now known to Izuku as a Subterranean, said. We suffer from overpopulation, therefore, we must now conquer the surface. We have already killed 70% of the surface dwellers. Even the one you call All Might is dead. I won't let you take the surface. Izuku choked out. Then die. Izuku landed a serious punch, killing the first Subterranean, but more came. He leapt between each one, annihilating all in one shot. The battle found itself at a bridge, and Izuku briefly lost his footing, providing an opportunity for a devastating shot to the solar plexus, smashing Izuku into a building. The glint in Izuku's eyes morphed into a menacing green aura, destroying the bridge and setting the surrounding area ablaze. This feeling, Izuku muttered. Before he could finish his thought, a more massive Subterranean with gigantic arms and 4 swords rose out of the ground. It towered over all but the tallest remaining buildings. I see that you have taken care of my children. The Subterranean king remarked. It's the feeling of a true fight. Izuku leapt towards the king, getting ready to throw a punch at 100% power. Right before their fists were to collide, Izuku heard a peculiar sound. RRRIIINNGGG. Izuku punched his alarm clock through the floor with a disappointed expression on his face. Izuku then hesitated before leaving his bed. What's that sound? He opened his window and saw a group of villains with shovels calling themselves subterraneans. By the looks of it, they had been out there all night, which likely inspired the content of his dream. Excitedly, Izuku jumped out and landed a normal punch, KOing one of them. To his surprise, the others left a white flag with the word, "Sorry," written on it and ran away. Genos noticed some cows, dying in a field. He examined the corpses, and found many puncture wounds riddling them, coupled with extreme blood loss. Mosquitoes. Izuku was at his house, watering his flowers, when a villain attack alert sounded on the television. Apparently, a giant swarm of mosquitoes had been flying around the city, and the coordinated nature of the swarm suggested an insect control quirk. "Hey, sounds like a nice matchup for Endeavor," he remarked. Izuku started monologuing about his situation to himself. "I have become too strong. There is not even a sign of this world's evil dying out at all, meaning that my actions as a hero haven't even made a difference. If anything, villains have become even more common. That doesn't matter to me, though. I started as a hero so that I could save people, but I quickly learned that it's impossible to save everyone, no matter how powerful you are. So, I turned to obsessively fighting villains as an alternative. Nowadays, I admit that I am mostly acting as a hero for excitement. It's what had saved me when I lost the will to live. After I was rejected from UA due to being quirkless. I am facing a huge problem, though. My emotions are weakening day by day. I don't feel excitement, or joy, or even anger, either. Could it be that I have lost something essential as a human in my quest for infinite power? Every fight now ends in one punch. No matter who I come up against, it's as easy as swatting insects. My weaker self desired power, but now I desire nothing." A mosquito flew through the window. "Yeah, as easy as swatting a fly. I feel nothing when I succeed." Izuku used a serious clap, thinking that he killed it, yet the air pressure from the clap knocked the mosquito out from between his hands. Damn. Mosquitoes. Izuku gritted his teeth. Clap. Another clap missed the mosquito. Izuku repeatedly clapped, missing over and over again. He glared at the mosquito with a dark look in his eyes and readied even more slaps to the annoying insect. Both Endeavor and Genos made their way to the epicenter of the swarm, as the mosquitoes attempted to drain more and more creatures. When they made it, they noticed that there was, in fact, a human at the center. Mosquito Girl swayed her body, gesturing for the mosquitoes to come closer, her groaning in quite a suspicious way each time she gained more power. "I see. You drain the blood of innocence, then use your quirk to take it all for yourself. I guess we have our next meal. The last one wasn't nearly enough to satiate me, go drain that boy." A swarm of mosquitoes formed the shape of a spike, driving themselves towards Genos at blinding speeds. Incinerate. The mosquitoes were wiped out almost instantly, but more came from surrounding trees, replenishing the swarm. "So you're a robot. No matter, Endeavor probably has some juicy blood for me to drain." Mosquito Girl smirked and launched her swarm at Endeavor. Filthy villain scum. Prominence burn. Endeavor let out a massive amount of fire, scorching swathes of mosquitoes. "What are you doing here, civilian? You know that you have to register yourself as a hero to use your quirk," Endeavor stated. "I am recently registered as the number 11 hero, Demon Cyborg," Genos replied. "Since my body is artificial, it is easy to replace my parts. That reminds me, teacher, what artificial parts do you use?" "I don't use any." "Then what's that skin-colored armor coating your body? I heard that you told Endeavor that you're quirkless, but you seem to have a strength quirk augmented by artificial parts." "It's called skin." "Then, that would mean you're quirkless, despite being so young. What's wrong with that? What the hell is your problem anyway?" Izuku's temper flared after being insulted for his quirk status. Genos looked like he had been waiting for him to ask that question. "My problem? Do you wish to hear my story, Master?" No thanks. A long time ago, 4 years Exactly, I was 12 years old and still a normal human being with a weak fire quirk. Even in this harsh world, I had a pretty happy and peaceful life with my family. But one day, a mad cyborg attacked our town suddenly. He had lost his mind, likely due to a faulty brain transplant into his cyborg body. After destroying my entire town, killing everyone in it, despite some moderately powerful quirks, he mysteriously disappeared. Only I was spared, but as I was a meek 12-year-old boy back then, I would not have survived the wilderness if the super-intelligent Dr. Kusano hadn't saved my life. It turned out that he, too, was pursuing this mad cyborg. I begged him to transplant my brain and quirk factor into a cyborg body. I made a promise to Dr. Kusano to find that cyborg and one day stop him. That's where you came in. The life that was saved that day by Dr. Kusano was once again saved by you. Enough already. Keep it to 20 words, or less. Izuku practically screamed, sick of Jenna's story. Yes, master. The UA entrance exams played out as normal, sans Izuku's involvement. Bakugo ended up winning, however, the teachers weren't impressed with anybody below 19th place in the exams. None of these seemed like UA material from what we saw, All Might said, frustratedly. I do have a recommendation, then, Eraserhead replied, Shinso Hitoshi, from the general education course would be a good applicant. From Gen Ed, really? Smuntos questioned. He has a mind control quirk, ineffective against robots. He would be a valuable asset to any UA class. Aizawa got really close to All Might's ear, and would probably do better against All for One than you did, eliciting a gulp from Toshinori. Part 1 ended. Thanks for watching.